The shop is a wreck. And I'd like to do some more organizing on a few things. But first, I'm gonna deal with this. Everybody knows every shop needs a shower. And having this one right in the middle of the floor, where I can't really move around or do anything, is very convenient. No, but in all seriousness, we're gonna try to fix this. There's a big crack here. There's also some smaller cracks running along here. What happened? Well, they were taking the panels off to get it ready to go in, and the back panel just fell back and broke. And the supplier they bought this from doesn't sell it in pieces. So back here, you can kind of see, well, I can see, yeah, right there, where the crack is propagating. I think what I'm gonna do first is put a few tiny drill holes on the ends of those cracks. And then we'll use one of these commercial DIY tub repair kits. Probably put a drill there, there. Down on the ends. To keep these things from propagating outward. I get a feeling if we don't do something like that, it's gonna keep growing even if we repair this one. Also, we'll probably sand down the back of it. Use some glazing and spot putty to repair it from the back as well. So we've got this kit. It's from Gel Coat Products. Supposed to be able to repair fiberglass and restore the finish with this. So we'll see. Let's try it out. Just like any other project, it's important to briefly glance at these instructions. So we're gonna widen this out. I'm not going in there with a file. I'm too lazy for that, so we'll use the Dremel.
Contrary to popular belief, ground fiberglass is actually beneficial to the human body. This respirator and eye protection, purely aesthetic.
You can see, basically just tracked those cracks with the bit to deepen them, widen them out, clean off any loose debris. And I did the same thing with the larger crack on the back here. So initially I used this little tiny stone bit for the Dremel. Come on, focus. There we go. And I'll widen the one in the rear out. Again, with this little rounded stone bit. Now that those are widened out, we have to make sure the surrounding area is clean. We're going to wipe it with the alcohol cloth that's not provided, because I have some. So let's clean this up and then get to it. I took the shop back to this all right, that's clean. I've got my camera in the most ridiculous position right now, trying to get this shot. So hopefully you can see what's going on there. I'm not gonna make any promises. But first we're gonna put this glazing putty on there. It's just bondo stuff. For repairing cracks and dings and fiberglass bodywork. And it does dry faster. This says it may dry in 25-30 minutes. thinking here is that maybe it would be better to have a surface behind what we're going to repair in the interior of the shower. You just make a little thin line with this, which is probably going to be not as easy as it sounds. I wish this had some kind of applicator attachment on it. That would be nice, huh? Didn't they know that I was going to use this? One guy, one time, was going to use this in an odd profile on a shower surround. They should have anticipated my needs. Hopefully you guys can see this. And I'm going just a little bit beyond the area we sanded off. Hopefully you guys caught that. I'll show you what we got here just in case you didn't. Well, I just used that putty on the crack we sanded out earlier. Simple as that, kids. And as you can see, no squeeze out up here. So, according to the instructions, we're going to remove half a jar of gel paste, which is approximately 1 ounce, with the wooden tool. Add 4 to 6 drops of the hardener and mix together on a scrap of cardboard. Oh, hell yeah. Looks like we got the hardener, a little mixing stick, alcohol pad. This is our gel coat patch. How do they know when I purchased this? I mean, what if this thing was already sitting on a shelf for a year? What if this had already been on a shelf for a year and I buy it and I keep it for another 6 months? How am I supposed to know? How could they possibly know when I bought this? And look at this. The contradiction. What am I supposed to do? This says 4 to 6 drops of hardener, and this one says 3 to 5. Christ's sake. You know what? Just forget the whole thing. I'm going home. Liquid hardener. All right, we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 drops. And then we're going to mix the hell out of this. So we're just going to work this into these cracks. I'm doing a really sloppy job of this. So my application could have been cleaner. That's fine. It's just going to mean more sanding in the end. The instructions said 1 to 3 hours, and it's now been 46. So we should be good to sand this. We're going to use the 400 grit that came with it and wet sand it. And that means, yes, the paper should be wet. Probably really going to regret putting all this overage on here. But, you know what this is. One important characteristic to have on a project like this is patience, a lot of patience. I have none. So I'm really fighting with myself not to do something stupid like grab a really high grit paper and rub this down and ruin the rest of the finish on this tub. We're on about the third round of sanding and reapplying this filler. I think this is going to be the last one, hopefully. But I found all kinds of little micro cracks, like I said earlier, so I had to go back through and fix those. But I think I'm figuring this out. So we're back to the 400 grit, wet sanding it. And I mentioned earlier I cheated and I used some heavier grit paper. Got to be careful with that because you will rub through the finish on this and just end up applying more and more and more. It's kind of like when I do drywall. I end up sanding off more than I put on and then having to do more. So one thing I noticed so far is that if you keep this good and wet, it works best. But the material and the water kind of gum up in the cracks, crevices. So you got to kind of frequently wipe it down just to see where you're at, because it makes this kind of white slurry. And it looks good until you wipe the slurry off and you realize you rubbed one spot down too low, and then you got to put more filler on it. Start all over again. Had that happen earlier. So we're going to have to clean this up again and put more filler on again. I'll show you what I'm talking about here. I don't know how well you can see these spots, but like right there, right there, right there. That's where I got too aggressive with the sandpaper. So, more filler, more sanding. We'll get there eventually, I guess. Okay, kids, we got that sanded down. I know the light's not perfect. A few little bare spots that lost some color, but this is as good as we're gonna get it. So the next step is to put a little bit of this Flitz polish on there. Polish it so we get that sheen back to match the rest of the shower. I'm sure you guys can't hear this, but it's kind of like with sanding. You can feel the difference, but you can hear the difference. So down here on these spots we didn't touch, very little noise when I'm moving. Up here, in these areas we sanded, you can feel and hear the roughness as you're polishing it. I mean, this isn't abrasive, so it is like sanding. It's just very, very fine sanding. So that's probably the best approach to this. Tight little circles. Listen and feel for the surface smoothing out. All right, kids, it ain't perfect, but that's about as good as I'm gonna get it. It's about as much time as I'm willing to invest here. So the last step is sit back and enjoy a job well done. Guess they weren't counting on a professional idiot doing this. We'll settle for a job done. All right, this is enough of this crap. Let's cover a couple do's and don'ts with this Gel Products tub and shower repair thing. Don't do what I did and try to cheat by using heavier grit sandpaper. It's faster, but you're going to rub some of the coating off that you're not repairing, and then you'll have to go back and repair that. Do get some extra 400 and 600 grit sandpaper that you can use to wet sand with. Because if you have something that's bigger than, I don't know, an inch or two on there, you're going to need more than one of those little sheets to sand this all down. Another do, be a little more conservative with applying this paste. I got pretty sloppy with it the first go around, and it took way longer to sand all that excess off. So, was it worth it? Yeah, for sure. I mean, this thing was like 50, 60 bucks at Lowe's, I think. And that shower surround's $1,000 or more. And apparently you can't just get the panels. So it was either throw this whole shower surround in a scrap heap, spend a few hours, and well, I'll use 2 of these kits, so $100. And she's good to go. Is it perfect? No. But nobody's going to get up close and look at that thing under a microscope. It's going to be perfectly functional, and unless you're really looking for it, you're not going to see the imperfections. Better than nothing. But yeah, hopefully I never have to do this again. And hopefully if you have to do it, well, maybe this will make it a little easier. All right, kids, that's it. Till next time.